If your cruise ship is scheduled to stop in the Dominican Republic in Puerto Plata, guess what? You get 2 destinations in one. Let us explain.
Welcome to our channel, Tim and Kate's
Excellent Adventures Cruise Edition. All right, today we're going to talk about Teno Bay and Puerto Plata. Have you seen the movie Who Framed Roger Rabbit? If you have, then you know when Eddie Valiant leaves Los Angeles and goes to Toontown, it's a huge stark contrast. It's just literally night and day, because you're going from dark Los Angeles into bright Toontown. It's a lot like that when you're in Teno Bay. You are leaving a very modern beachfront resort and going into history. It's amazing.
Yeah, and we really enjoyed our time there. We did not do an excursion through Norwegian or at Teno Bay, and we'll kind of talk about that as well. We just went and explored Teno Bay and Puerto Plata.
We looked at Teno Bay and we looked at Puerto Plata and realized it's right there. Like a lot of the places, a couple of these short excursions were going to take us are just going to take us right there into the city. So we figured we'd just walk. And it's not very far into the historic district at all, and we'll get into that here in a little bit. First, we're going to give you a rundown of what the rest of this video is going to be about. We're going to talk a little bit about the history of Teno Bay, fairly limited because it's new, and a little bit of history about Puerto Plata, what we saw in Puerto Plata, and then what we did when we came back to Teno Bay. And there is one piece of advice you can't live without, and you're going to have to wait to the end. Teno Bay is a new cruise ship dock that was installed at Puerto Plata and completed in 2021. The first cruise to land there was in December of 2021. This has berths that allow up to 3 cruise ships to dock at the same time and brings in up to 14,000 visitors daily into Puerto Plata. It's kind of a big deal.
And I would say it's kind of like a big, like, theme park-ish.
Oh, yeah.
Theme park, shopping, food, drinks.
Oh, absolutely. Very much theme park vibes here when you land. They have a lazy river. They have a pool. They have pools with bars in them, bars, and lots of restaurants and shopping.
Yeah, and just note that the lazy river and the pool area is all free. Obviously, like if you buy any drinks or food or any, souvenirs, that you're going to pay for, but you can definitely go and check out the lazy river and the pool.
And I will say that it is like a theme park, but the prices aren't theme park. I don't know how else to explain that.
Right.
Yeah, the food and the drinks were fairly reasonable, we had there.
Yeah. We didn't eat, but we had drinks, we had coffee, we had some fun adult beverages. So we definitely enjoyed both Teno Bay and also Puerto Plata.
One thing Teno Bay offers is their own excursions. There are excursion booths that you can visit. If you didn't book anything through your cruise line, you can book something there. And like we said, we didn't do that. We basically walked through Teno Bay. Well, first we found coffee, really good coffee, in fact.
Yes.
And then wandered around a little bit, looked at a couple of things and said, okay, let's go to town.
Yeah, and one thing, too, to note that there is a duty-free shop in that Teno Bay as well that you actually have to walk through when you go back to your ship. So it's kind of fun to check that out as well.
Notice how we said it's like a theme park? You've got to walk through the gift shop to get out.
Yeah.
So when we left Teno Bay to visit historic Puerto Plata, the first thing that jumps out at you is the architecture. You're leaving a modern theme park and going into a Victorian village. Oh, not village, it's a Victorian city. The city was platted in the 1860s after a war of reclamation. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. Some of the attractions that you can see in Puerto Plata is Calle de las Sombrillas,
which translates to Umbrella Street.
This is probably one of the places that people really like to take a lot of pictures at because there is so much going on in this one little street. It's maybe 2 blocks long, covered in umbrellas, gives you some shade and some color since they're rainbow umbrellas.
Yeah, and they're all above. And then on, like, when you're walking through, there are shops and things that you could look at. In the alleyway street, there are old cars that are like really fun colors and beautiful to look at. That is actually an excursion that you can be driven around in one of these cars.
Yes, you can.
We didn't do that, but we did have fun looking at all of them.
Yes.
There will also be some people with parrots.
They have parrots.
And you can either just walk by and look at them, or you can hold a parrot and they will take video and kind of showcase the umbrellas and you with the parrot. They'll also take a photo of you with the parrot as well. They don't have a cost to this. They work on tips. So whatever you want to give them afterwards, that's what they will take. They don't have a set price.
They don't. The one thing I would like to point about the vintage cars is that I did look in one of the windows, and they've retrofitted air conditioning units. So if you do take that excursion, you're not going to roast.
Right. You will have the luxury of air conditioning.
Right, yes. Now, if you walk literally down the road and around the corner from Umbrella Street, I'm going to butcher this, you will find Paseo de Doña Blanca, which is also known as
the Pink Alley.
Right.
And it's pink.
Pink. I don't think you understand. It is pink. It is bright. If you're tired and you walk in there, you will be awake by the time you get to the end of the road. It is that pink.
Yes. And it's definitely an alley. It's definitely a pedestrian kind of walkway alley. A car would not be able to get into this part.
No.
And when you first walk up to it, there's kind of like this arch that like welcomes you in, kind of. And then, yes, everything is pink. There's some art on the walls. It's pink.
Yes.
There are women dressed in like Victorian pink costumes, and they are in pink.
It's a different shade of pink. Otherwise, they'd blend into the walls, and I don't know what kind of photograph you would get out of that.
Right. A little scary, but all of a sudden it moves.
I've seen this movie. I'm frightened.
Yes, and then there's also some people that will take your photo as well. And again, they're going to be working on tips. The women dressed in the pink, you can take photos with them. They are working for tips as well.
Yes.
And so we didn't take advantage of having anyone take our photo. We kind of just took a photo where you could see the pink alley behind us. Tim did take a photo of me with the angel wings. But we did see a lot of people utilizing this. Like, I can think of it was like one person. I don't know if she was traveling by herself or she just decided she was with the group and she wanted to go do this and maybe they did something else. And she had somebody, with her taking photos. So, definitely can happen. And, it's kind of nice that they're there to help you with that.
Yes.
And there was not just a bird in the pink alley.
No.
There was a little baby monkey.
A little baby monkey. When we realized there was a monkey in there, we kind of treaded lightly because I've seen enough episodes of Friends with Ross's little monkey, Marcel, and you don't want to get a monkey started.
No. We watched a lady holding him and or her, I don't know what it was, but and it was very cute, but we did not take advantage of that. We did, I don't know if we actually said, we did get some photos of us with the bird.
With the bird and in Umbrella Street, we definitely did.
Yeah.
So again, down the road and around the corner, this is a different road and a different corner, obviously. You can get to Independence Square. This is a local spot. This is where a lot of local people will meet each other because it's central to the city. There's a lot of benches to sit down at. There's also a monument to General Gregorio Luperón. And he was a general in the army during the War of Dominican Restoration during the 1860s. I mentioned that Puerto Plata was laid out in the 1860s, and the reason for that is because the Spaniards burned down the old city in 1863 during this war. So General Luperón was one who helped lead the Dominican people to their restoration as an independent country from Spain. And he donated this area to the city. There's a statue of him at Independence Square. And right next to Independence Square, there is
a cathedral, and I'm going to let you say it because
Cathedral San Felipe Apostol.
you say it much better than me.
And I'm probably butchering it because I'm a Midwestern white guy.
But it was right there, and we were like, hey, let's go check this out. And there were actually a bunch of people at that time. There were a bunch of people like right outside, and I'm wondering if it was some kind of group, and they had been inside and they came out, and so that kind of also made me go, oh, let's see what this is.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful cathedral inside.
It was amazing inside. We didn't get a whole lot of video or pictures inside because it would kind of weirded us out. Like, do we really want to take pictures in here?
Right. Yeah. We didn't know if it was respectful. There were people sitting in the pews, and I don't know, if they were praying or, anything like that. And I didn't feel it was respectful to be taking photos. So you'll have to just go and see it for yourself.
See it for yourself.
But it was beautiful. There are going to be people that work at the church, and they're gonna greet you when you leave, or they're gonna greet you when you come in, and then they're also gonna say goodbye when you leave, and they're going to want a little tip as well. So just be prepared for that.
Be prepared, be respectful of the culture, and be prepared to tip.
Yes.
So I'd like to point out that all of these attractions are within a few blocks of each other, and maybe a 3-block walk from Taino Bay.
Right. So there are taxis that will take you to places, but we really, if you're okay walking,
take advantage of it.
Yeah.
All right. So what you're going to need to know when you navigate between Taino Bay and Puerto Plata. The first thing you're going to want to make sure you absolutely have in your possession at all times is your cruise ship key and a government-issued photo identification, such as your driver's license or maybe your passport.
Now, when you leave a ship I'm guessing on any boat, this was Norwegian, but I'm guessing on any ship, you will have to scan your key card so they know that you got off the ship.
Yes.
So that means you're going to have to scan it when you come back.
Yes.
So you're not going to actually get off the ship without that key card.
No.
But then you definitely, like Tim said, you want to have your government issued ID because they're going to look at that definitely when you come back to get back on. Not even just on the ship. It's before you even get to the ship. It's kind of like a little gate.
There's security gates. Yeah, we experienced this at all of our shore excursions, that when you get to the security gate, they're going to ask for your stateroom key, and then they're going to ask for a form of photo identification. And we have some lanyards. We'll link those in the description. Some lanyards that are clear on both sides, and they're extendable as well. Yeah,
and so what we did is we just put our ship key card on one side, and then on the other, we just put our driver's license. So then we could just flip and go, this is who we are, and it was a lot easier. We weren't digging for it, and we knew it was safe in our lanyard as well.
Absolutely. I'd also like to point out that the entrance to Taino Bay is adjacent to a Dominican Army base. I don't want to stress this too much, but it's not a place where you want to mess around.
And like I mentioned earlier, there are taxis once you get out of Taino Bay. So if you would like to utilize them, they are right there.
Absolutely. I'd also like to point out that when you leave, there are individuals in polo shirts and baseball caps. And they are wearing they're a uniform, because you'll see more than one of them. And they are asking you if you need a guide. And they work on tips. And they basically explain, hey, if you're with me, people aren't going to ask you things. I'll take your picture, that sort of thing.
Right. So if you're thinking about that, if you're thinking like, I would like someone to kind of show me around, maybe tell me a little bit of history, take the photos, and not giving a bunch of people tips for like photos and things like that, you can definitely utilize them as well. They're going to greet you right when you get out of Taino Bay.
They are. We didn't take advantage of this, and I want to apologize to Aurelio. You were really nice, and I hope that whoever you did help that day tipped you very well.
Okay, so our best
advice
if you go to this port.
We went to the city first. Well, let me back up. We were in Tano Bay. We got some coffee, and then we left Tano Bay after looking around at everything, getting the lay of the land, and like early in the morning. And then we saw everything, and then we came back to Tano Bay. The goal was to sit in a chair, take the lazy river, because in the morning there was nobody there. It was empty. We were like, well, this is great. We'll have plenty of opportunity. No. What happened was that the ships all emptied. People came back from their excursions, and they all had the same idea we did. Let's find a chair. Let's take the lazy river. Let's go to the pool. Let's do simulated surfing. All of that stuff. And we're going to take chairs. We made 2 laps around Tano Bay looking for chairs to lounge in, and that's when we decided to do something else.
Yes.
We ended up going, getting some souvenir shopping done. We were planning on doing that anyway.
Yeah.
And then after we got our souvenirs, we found a bar that had a couple of empty chairs, had some water, much needed water, and then a couple of drinks.
And it is an outdoor bar, so you are getting to enjoy still the outdoors, the sunshine, but it was in shade, so that was kind of nice as well after being out in the sun.
Right.
So we were, it was a little bit of a disappointment that we didn't get to do what we thought we were going to do, but we definitely enjoyed our time. So if you plan on wanting to do what we thought we were going to do, we would suggest probably doing that first. And that's probably what some other people did, where they were like, we're not going to go into town or anything like that. We're just going to hang out in Tano Bay. So we would suggest getting off the boat, getting your beach chair, hanging out at the pool or checking out the lazy river, anything like that. Right. And so that you get to do it. And then if you still wanted to go check out Puerto Plata, you definitely could afterwards. There's definitely enough time.
There is. One other thing that we would like to point out to anybody who wants to enjoy Tano Bay, we didn't really find any lockers.
Yes. Yeah.
That's the one theme park amenity that we were kind of missing here.
Yeah. So we thought there were going to be lockers, and so we brought our beach bag and had all of our things in there. That was another reason we didn't actually hang out at the lazy river, because we thought, okay, well, we can't find a beach chair. That's fine. We'll do the lazy river. We'll go put our stuff in a locker. And we couldn't find any lockers, and come to find out there are no lockers. So what we would suggest is we do have, or we did have a little pouch, kind of like a fanny pack size pouch, and it is waterproof, definitely waterproof. We'll link that below as well. It can be worn as a fanny pack. It can be worn over the shoulder. But you could have all that identification cash, all that stuff could be inside of that. And then I would just leave the beach bag on the ship. And then hopefully you could have your towels that you get from your cruise line, hopefully, or if that's all that's in your beach bag, maybe they will let you keep it somewhere right by the lazy river. And then bring your camera, obviously, as well too. But then enjoy the lazy river that way, so that you're not like, well, we have this bag of stuff. We can't just, have it sitting here.
Knowing what we know now, we would do things just a little bit differently.
Yes.
Great. If you made it this far, that means you like us, and we would appreciate it if you subscribe. We plan on making these videos once a week.
So we would love for you to also hit that bell.
So that way you know.
Yes, you'll know right when we have new content out.
Absolutely.
And we did mention that we will have some links down in the description, and those are Amazon affiliated links.
We do have Amazon affiliate links, which means if you click the link and make a purchase, we may receive a small commission. We do appreciate your support. We're also going to include a link to Expedia if you wish to embark on a cruise that stops at Puerto Plata.
Thanks so much for watching today.
Bye.